It sounds like in your approach, you're saying we need to de-emphasize testing. Is that taking the test or teaching to the test? My point being, how do you measure in a standardized way so that you can see that everybody is on point or on task? How do you administer that? How do you walk down that road without doing what we're doing right now, where it became about testing and teaching testing and learning kind of fell aside? So how do you see that?
I think it's both. I mean, it's the cart before the horse, right? We have moved into a standardized testing model that does not look at growth. It looks at just the end game. And in South Carolina has chosen with the report card and what that looks like as their model. There are other states that have chosen different ways to evaluate success in students. There are some states that look at sort of what we call a portfolio, where you look at the students' growth throughout the school year based on measurements that student has done, instead of everybody taking the same kind of test. And I think that that's the piece that we're focused on, those numbers, and we lose sight of student, because not every student comes into school at the same level. But we're treating it like again, I go back to the industrialized education model, where it was very factory oriented. You had students come in and they were treated like, I'm going to say, widgets, or there's the whole blueberry analogy. And so, but that's not the reality of education. I think the second piece of it is that we have, for whatever reason, we have stopped trusting the teacher. When you look at, and I have the privilege of working with some of the greatest educators I've ever seen. I'm in awe of them. We know when our students are successful and when they're not. But for whatever reason, that sort of trust in the teacher has been removed from the system. I think it's because there are businesses. I mean, education now is a multi-billion-dollar business. There are people making money off of failing students, right? You sit there and think about the fact that, I'll use Blythewood High School is failing in math, so this educational software company is going to come in and give this curriculum, and the district is going to pay them millions of dollars to implement this to get math scores up. So I think that it is, again, a concerted effort where if you follow the money, you see who's benefiting from it. I think in terms of testing, you think about SC Ready. Our students, I added up a couple years ago that in first semester of 90 days of school at the high school level, 72 of those days were spent with students testing for something. When they're testing, they're not learning. They're not in front of the teacher. They're not getting the curriculum. They're not doing the activities to help. And so that's the piece that really hurts me, that if we could just pull back the number of tests, then you get more days back for the teaching and learning, at the very least. Then if you also look at what the test is teaching, we talk about the biology EOC, end of course test, that students who take biology 1 take. And it's one of the most, in South Carolina, the lowest scoring tests. And when you talk to biology teachers about why that is, it's because it's a reading test. Because so much time is spent reading it that it's no longer really focused on the biology. So I think the metric of what the test looked like is also important. When you're looking at SC Ready tests and the fact that it takes hours upon hours for students to take it, those are not, again, developmentally appropriate for third graders to have to focus that long. So I think all of that is cut into how we can improve testing, and then repeal some of it, but still have the metrics that are actually valuable to teachers. The other piece of SE Ready is the teachers don't get the data until the next year. So our testing system is very flawed, and I think that's where we start working to make that better.